think you might be muted.
I said King not even in the picture. You can only hear his voice. Let me figure out what's going on. Oh, it's not popping up. That's why.
Oh, I thought King was inside the booth in the studio, and it was so dark that we couldn't find the light switch. And that's
Hey, I'm trying to get there.
Nah, that motherfucker.
We need better acoustics, so we're putting him in the booth.
Yeah, huh? You don't need to see me. I'll be the ghost.
No. I gotta figure out what's wrong. And I ain't gonna be the crazy part is I ain't gonna be able to figure it out, King, for a second because
you gotta start the show.
Yeah, the show has already started.
Oh, it's already started.
Last show.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't pay attention to how it was happening. You feel me? But it happened.
It looked like the Bluetooth connection.
Yeah, the Bluetooth had to go bad.
Yeah.
Sure.
I thought
we just gonna hear your voice for right now, King. You just the voice of God right now.
We need one of those cool graphics, like when somebody's reporting from a war zone and they just have a picture of them and they're talking because they only have audio.
We're gonna work on that, Pete. I like that idea.
That's not bad. Like a CNN on-field reporter or something.
You see, we got the call-in number and everything. Like we like a real professional show. You feel me?
That cord is short right now.
Really professional. So if somebody calls in, I can
yell at me all day long now.
Hold up, somebody call in. Somebody, wait a minute, you looking at it on your phone. Hold up.
Can I call? I might call in.
Call in.
I'm gonna call in as a fake voice.
Call in. Let me hear it. This your fake voice?
Let's see if it works.
Pete is having way too much fun, man. No Ceilings live to lunch hour every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Right here on Digital Soapbox. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you in the house. If you're on Twitter, retweet this link. If you on Facebook, share this post.
Yeah, that number's not on.
It is. You calling it?
Well, it just goes to voicemail.
It took too long to answer.
Try it again.
Oh, okay.
If you on Facebook, share this post. If you on hold up, answer. Okay, there you go.
It goes straight to voicemail.
No, somebody call it now. Hold on, let me see if I can see.
That's me.
No. Hold up, talk.
Yep.
Okay, somebody, you have to talk.
Hello.
Somebody's there.
Hello, can you hear me?
You can hear him?
I can hear him.
I can't hear him.
I can hear you guys a little bit.
Yeah, that's great. We'll talk. Glasses sucks. We don't need to talk to that guy.
I was on Twitter and
just
y'all said call
Pete.
in, so I called in, man. I just called in.
Nice.
I was on live. Watch.
Who was calling?
My name is H. Jetson. I was on the Twitter live. So you said somebody call in, so I called in.
Oh, we appreciate it.
No,
so what you got? What you got to say? I'm sure you got to. Hopefully, you can rag on one of the two of us. I mean, 50% chance.
It's not that. That's not what it is. Pete can hear it. It's something else. It's this right here. It needs to.
Yeah, and I can hear the other calls coming in too.
That's tight.
The beep.
Oh, that's tight. No, because so this right here, what I would need to do is I would need to take these headphones, right? I had to take these headphones, plug these headphones in, and put them in my ear.
Gotcha.
And that's how I hear it.
Lest we do that.
Yeah. What's crazy is nobody can hear the person talking. Only you can hear them.
Oh, only me? Not even the people in the room. Can you hear this?
Yeah, can y'all put a 1 if you can hear it? There's no Ceilings live call in right now.
On my laptop.
Okay, so they can hear it too. So only we can.
Okay,
yeah,
everyone except Glasses can hear this. This is awesome. This is all we've wanted for all this time.
So you're gonna have to have you're gonna have to have headphones.
Yeah,
listen to it. You want to go get you some headphones?
No, we cool right now. We cool. Okay.
Officially speaking, we're still in beta.
We still in beta. Yeah.
Yeah.
We still in beta. Okay. Is she still on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. Okay, I'm gonna cut it off. Hold on.
Maybe you gotta hang the phone up too.
Yeah. Well, it's probably already hung up. Okay. So again, this is No Ceilings Live, huh?
I said somebody else was trying to call too.
This is No Ceilings Live to lunch hour every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here, noon Pacific Standard Time. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you in the house.
I got that longer cord and storage.
Right? If you on Twitter, retweet this link. If you on Facebook, share this post. If you on YouTube, like it. Just like it. You feel me? That type of thing. We do this stream to support the No Ceilings podcast. Look below us, a link in the bio. If you're on YouTube, we just dropped a dope episode. Check it out, listening. We already in the 5th season, so we finna make it happen all this year. This is the year for it all. We're gonna take the lunch table to the next level. Feel me? Listen to the No Ceilings podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcast from. The No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black Effect Podcast Network, and iHeart. And we off to the races on this thing. Shout out to everybody at the lunch table that's eating early. My boy Fats, Diamondback, what up with you, Brody? Truck, Sharice, hey, Squish, Prophet, Jets. Prophet, what's happening? Lex, what's the deal, big dog? Big bro. Grim, what's up? Tree, my boy, what's the deal? Said fake voice. Hey, what's up, cuz? Everybody here. Monet, what's the deal? No, cuz, what's happening? So, no, that was my fault. Hold on. Now I got it, Prophet, because I can't hear you. So I have an interface right here, right? And the interface is not routing the call into the computer. Again, somebody's calling. Pete is the only one going to be able to hear you and everybody else.
So people have to answer the
So
question.
not me and everyone else. Everyone except you, to be clear.
Everybody except
King
me.
can hear, right?
No, I can't hear.
Oh, King. Okay, so it is everyone in the audience and me.
Yes.
Talk about anticlimactic for the callers. This is
No,
the last
it's
thing
right, though.
they
At least
wanted.
you get to listen to it.
It's all replay. I'm like, the guy said, I'll just relay it. So ask me a question to ask Glasses. I'll ask Glasses. He'll answer it, and then you'll be able to hear the answer without me having to say it back
There
to
you
you.
go. It's a value for you. I'm crying.
Is somebody on the phone?
There's a call.
Right there.
Okay.
Pete can hear the phone
I
ring.
can hear the beep. He's staring at the phone, but I can't.
No,
but
I
I have
can't
to answer.
hear the
This
phone.
is going real well, guys.
Yo,
That's right.
Hello.
There you go.
what up?
Lunch
Pete?
hour.
Thank you for calling the lunch hour of the live stream of the No Ceilings podcast starring Glasses Malone. If you would like to ask Glasses Malone anything, please ask me, and I will relay the message to him directly. Thank you, and how are you doing today? Please ask your question at this time. Even I can't hear the question.
Oh, you can't hear it now.
Oh, wait, no, I got you. What were we saying?
So look, what you feel about therapy, man? Me and my girl have a issues. She want to do therapy.
Glasses, how do you feel about therapy? He and his girl are having some issues and they were thinking about therapy. What's your opinion on that?
Go for it.
What you think about therapy?
Go for
man?
it. Anything that helps people communicate better. I think therapy helps people communicate better with themselves and other people. Therapy is always a thumbs up for me. People do not know how to communicate.
Going to better help
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have an intermediary. Sometimes, like especially like in a relationship, you can get two parties that are so kind of either if not like dug in against one another, but dug in on their own points. So to have somebody in the middle, kind of like try to at least separate things and level it out, sometimes seems to help, even if they're not like maybe providing the greatest advice. At least you can, maybe solve the problem a little bit better by just having somebody else there to say, hold on, you calm down. Oh, no, now you calm down. That's why when countries like after the little debacle with Trump and Zelensky, they went over to the Middle East and they talked about it there with some other people in the middle.
Okay. Did you answer? Can I hang up now?
Yeah, I think so. I guess that's
Okay.
all I heard.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, therapy is always a go for me. Like, I think people need to go to therapy. People don't know how to talk to each other at all. All about communication. Okay, it's another call. It's from New York.
Thank you for calling the No Ceilings podcast lunch hour live with Glasses Malone. If you have any questions for Glasses Malone, ask me and I will relay those questions directly to him in real time. Please ask your question now.
Hey, this is B.A. Baracus Lex. I want to
Yes.
know Glasses Malone's 3 top influences.
Glasses, who are your 3 top influences? Artistically, let's say.
Artistically, sheesh. That's changed over time. Number 1 is Barry White.
Number
Nobody
1,
motivates me more than Barry White at this time artistically. I'm just in disbelief at what he's able to do creatively. Leonardo da Vinci. I really kind of been stuck into a lot of stuff that he's doing. And I know he doesn't get credit as an artist, but Eddie Murphy. Like something that's important to me is really, bringing out the comedy element in all of this hip hop, whether it's gangster rap at its fullest. I feel like that was really dope in the early 90s, like how much we got to laugh at some of our favorite artists, you know what I mean? Like making us laugh. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg making a Chronic and Doggy Style. People made it like it was so serious, but really it was a great time and really funny, even though they kind of toppled some really important topics.
Didn't they put that on albums too?
Yep.
Versus now?
Yep.
Okay.
So, yep. That's all. So, yep, we're going to get to it. Anyway, so what I realize people think that there's something different. King, you've been a gangbanger probably longer than I have at this point. Like, what do you feel is something exclusive to gang culture? Like I hear that all the time, and I'm like, outside of a Crip wearing a blue rag, I don't think there's nothing exclusive to gang culture that is not the same for street urban culture, let's say in Tacoma on the Hill. So whether or not somebody is from Hilltop, everybody lives the same if they live in that level of street culture, right? It's like, is there anything different outside of the bandana?
That's a good question. I was just talking about that with somebody living in different places across, the country and seeing the different neighborhoods and comparing it to where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I see different would just be an attitude. That's it. Because you won't get the same attitude that you get where I'm from anywhere else. So everything else could be the same in some type of form or name change, but it's the same actions and stuff.
That's what I thought. I feel like everybody on the Hill act the same, even if they necessarily are part of the infantry of Hilltop.
It's just an attitude. It's just a certain attitude. That's it.
What you think, Pete? You've been around gangs for a lot of years.
And when you say gangs, you mean specifically Bloods and Crips, or are you like the Zoes, the GDs?
Sure. Like let's say you grew up in a Zoe neighborhood in Miami, but you grew up kind of living the life. Well, the reason I say that is because for some strange reason, bro,
say gangs get painted with a black picture. They get plain negative.
It's a little bit more, I don't want to say it's as simple as that. It's like, okay, everybody from a Zoe neighborhood is from a Zoe neighborhood if you just on the timing, right? If you rolling with the partners, versus where people see Crips and Bloods as a thing, like where you have to, like no matter how much I try to tell them, it's not really like that. Like you from where you from, it's where you grew up at. Like if you go down the street with your homeboys, I don't really see there's no difference. You feel me? I don't see the difference at all. So I'm trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, like let's say I'm out somewhere, like I'm at a house party somewhere on the west side, right?
Sure.
And like I got some friends of mine that are, ex-athletes or whatever. They're from the Jays. They went to Dorsey and all the rest of it. And then other ones that are really like on BPS like that, So like there's a certain bravado with the latter and a certain like an attitude in the sense that like, look, we're from something a little more serious than that. So yeah, you might be here with 2 or 3 of your friends or whatever, but you guys aren't really, what y'all really gonna do?
Well,
That's why I said attitude. You know, it's like a certain.
but I don't think it's really
attitude.
different. And shout out to Frank, PSR1. Appreciate your conversation, buddy, at the lunch table, my boy. The rules and regulations of being a gang member, we can't take that L without retaliation, whereas a criminal can. But that's not really true, though, Frank. Like, if everything in a gang, you feel me, meant that it there is no rules and regulations, right? That is exclusive to a gang. There's nothing exclusive to a gang in Los Angeles that's separate from a street, a street guy in Los Angeles. There's no different rule. There is no different regulation. There is nothing about it that makes it unique. And I was trying to explain that to somebody, like, what's the rules of being a gang member? There is no rules. The one rule that exists in being a gang member is don't snitch. That's a criminal rule. That's any level of criminal rule for any criminal. There is no specific rules. Like, if somebody jumps you, you don't have to go back and shoot them. They're not going to kick you out the game if you don't go back and shoot all 6 people. You know what I mean? Like, there is no specific rules. You know what I mean? The closest thing to a rule to me, right, is like, the closest thing to a rule to me is like, if we go somewhere and there's a couple people jump on me and you don't help me, right? But guess what? Really, that's the same rule.
Yeah, anywhere.
I don't care if you're not even from the street.
But the risk tolerance is different.
What's the risk?
Like, for example, if that's really like your primary identity versus you're just a guy from down there and you got a regular job and whatever else, and you're not really with that, you probably don't want to just be like, yeah, I'll take it to whatever level regardless of consequences, because I'll go throw 5 down up at state like it's not completely catastrophic. Whereas like a regular person who's not with that is like, I really don't want to fucking go that far.
Yeah, but I think gang members feel the same way.
I think
not to the same degree.
They
They don't want to go do that, but I think that they're less averse by comparison.
Well, I think you don't get the reverence if you don't do it. See, it's not about it's a requirement, like a rule or a regulation is a requirement versus you get the reverence for standing up for yourself or issuing consequence for doing something wrong to somebody. It's not like, it ain't like the homie that's a punk. Shout out to the homie 6 John who just stepped in. It ain't like a homie that's a punk. He get kicked out the set. He don't get put off. He just a punk homie. That's what you don't get the reverence. You don't necessarily get demoted. You just don't get promoted. You know what I mean? And promotion really comes in reverence. It don't really come with a true promotion. It ain't like all my OG homies is the gangsterest people in the world. Some of them were just the homie. Some of them were more tough. Some were less. Some of them didn't. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, is that word, the saying is put work in so you could get promoted?
Well, it's a reverence that come with. You don't have to put work in
to get promoted.
I mean,
to get reverence.
Reverence is more or less like, it's different. It's not something you have to have. It's something that human beings crave.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you have to have. It ain't like they're gonna boot you off if you're a punk, man. That nigga's a punk. Mm-hmm. You know how many people that get put off gangs if it was we putting punks off?
Mm-hmm.
Or we putting people that ain't going to ride on homies, if we putting them off, man, it'll be 10 people from the hood. It wouldn't be.
But so funny when you say that, the ones that didn't want to go ride are the ones that's now, got old enough, became doctors and different things and things like that because they didn't ride and get in trouble. Well, that's funny you say that.
Yeah, so it's like, but I think that's the point. And I was saying that trying to explain it, but I don't know if there's anything to be held accountable for, Frank. You said, whereas a regular criminal don't have to be accountable. Listen, if it's 2 criminals, let's say if it's 2 criminals, right? And they just criminals, they not from a gang, they from LA, they live their life, they grew up in this neighborhood, but they just be doing their own thing. They thugging how they thug. If John is a criminal and Jake is a criminal, right? They grew up next door to each other and they go somewhere and 8 people jump on John while Jake is there and Jake don't help. I think John gonna have the same natural response, against his partner that didn't help. So I don't think there's nothing exclusive. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm starting to understand more and more LA gang culture is really just LA street urban culture minus the bandana. I can't even say the lingo is exclusive. Like, all my homeboys from Long Beach, right? I got a grip of homeboys from Long Beach. Some of them are from gangs, right, Pete? And some of them are not from gangs, like JU, certain homies. Everybody in Long Beach say cuz.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of homies from Inglewood that's Bloods. It's a blood town. You know what I mean? From the inside of it, right? Until you get to the very outskirts of it where the IVCs and those guys are at. But in the inside of Inglewood, it's a bunch of Bloods. I got a bunch of homies that's from Inglewood that say blood, but they not Bloods.
Why would you say bandana could be exclusive?
Because I don't see people that's not from a gang wearing a bandana. That fashion, when it comes to that specific fashion of a blue bandana, pretty much only Crips wear that as the
A
thing.
certain way.
Go ahead,
Because I
Pete.
remember growing up, you know, with my mom, them guys putting them on their heads and stuff. People, you know,
Yeah,
blowing their nose with them and things
that's
like
fair.
that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably
You know,
how it
before
started.
so-called LA gangs came about, bandanas was already being utilized from cowboys, like you said, from cowboys days and stuff like that. So
Well, I mean, I guess
why you say
now,
exclusive?
because I think
bandana?
now they have kind of
Well, I think people were carrying bandanas either which way, so you carried a blue one or a red one based
Yes, I'm
off the
saying that, like
affiliation
they
because you
send
were
them
already
to his
carrying.
pockets way
yeah,
before LA
yeah, but
gangs.
now at this point, culturally, it's kind of been stamped, and you won't see
Yeah,
like
'cause
a
people don't
regular
carry
white
bandanas
man
anymore.
in downtown with just a blue handkerchief anymore.
Yeah, you might be scared shitless now.
Yeah, you like that's good. That yeah,
that might
you
be
know
the
what I mean?
reason why
That's
now.
You think like in the finance district back in the day, you had a kerchief or a burchief, depending
Yeah.
on what bank
Uh-huh.
you worked for.
Yeah. So now
I
what
was driving back from Arizona recently, and I stopped at a gas station, and I took a picture. I gotta send you the picture, G. There was this little
That's
white
right.
kid.
No 6.
What's happening?
was-
6.
What up? What up?
Okay.
What up, King? It was this little white kid in line, and I just happened to look over, and he buying like a blue rag at the gas station in like the edge of California, Arizona. And I'm like, damn. So I like secretly just put my phone and just like snapped hella pictures just up in the air because I needed to capture it, but I got a crazy picture of this. So I'm like, damn, what you about to do with that? You know what I mean? Like, it's
You
crazy.
get what I'm saying? Like, so to me, that's what I'm saying. 6, like, right? It's fashion. It's all fashion, right? Now, that part of fashion, when it comes to culture, I get it. That could be exclusive culturally. Again, you're not gonna be walking downtown in the jewelry district and some Asian man just got a blue bandana. He knows that is pretty much spoken for.
Yeah,
That makes sense. He knows, like, but once you get outside of that, I don't think, because it was always everybody I knew growing up that grew up where I grew up at, even the ones that wasn't gang members, everybody wore Dickies if they didn't have no money. That was considered fresh.
Yeah.
That was the cheapest way to get fresh. T-shirts, that's a LA street urban thing. Fresh. You know what I mean? Chucks, fresh. I mean, maybe the big lace is part of fashion. Like that could be like, I would imagine if you from Long Beach, if you don't gangbang, you probably ain't gonna wear black chucks with big yellow laces. That just probably is a bit too much. You know what I mean? So, but outside of that, the morality is not unique when you go from gang culture to street culture. It's not unique at all. It's pretty much everybody on the hill acts the same. Like if you go mess with Mrs. Johnny house, Mr. Johnny might come out busting at your ass, and Mr. Johnny ain't no gangbanger, but he know he ain't finna be playing with nobody.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Even in shout out to Name Brand, he said unless the Asian man is in Long Beach, and that Asian man is a gang member. So I think some of these things been overstated. Shout out to Frank PSR, he cooking up. He cooking up at the table, fresh like Benny Hannes, baby. Yes, G, you're right. It's the difference in how you look at your homie. It is a must. He gets packed out with you. If in a gang member, we going down to the foot. It's not a must though. It's not a must. If like it's not a must. They're not gonna put him off. They may not even DP him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They may not even DP him. But they may not even DP
I
him.
think I would myself if
No,
a
that's what I
nigga
said.
left me.
You may be in a fight with just
nigga
your
left me.
homie.
Yeah, but I'll do my own homie when it's over and done with for leaving me
Yeah,
in a situation. Like if something's gonna be done about it, like just leaving me.
yeah. But it's personal. It's no
Yeah.
different than two street dudes, Jake
Yeah.
and John. If Jake let John get jumped on, later on, Jake might take off on John because he didn't
Yeah.
help him.
Facts.
Or John might take off on Jake because he didn't help him. It's not necessarily something that's there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of sensationalism, and I'm starting to realize the true sensationalism is coming from people on the outside, from what they learned through entertainment. Because when I hear people even talk about it, it's like there's these rules. And I'm like, man, I've been a Crip 30 years at this point. I mean, like 30 years. I don't know these rules. Like nobody sits you down and be like, hey, nigga, this is the rules, glasses. Nigga, when this happened and this happened and this happened and this happened. It's kind of like learning on the job. It's not quite a contract where you sign and, you know, like these are the terms of the, like you're not buying a car. You know what I mean? When you sign off, you initial the terms, you got the terms. So it's just unique. Shout out to Yato D Guy cooking at the table. What's the deal, baby? I know it's a movie, but South Central portrayed that perfectly. OG Bobby wouldn't let the Sherm head get put off. He should have probably let Loco get put off, though.
Loco was wild.
Loco was some bullshit. And here's a perfect example, Yato. I'm glad you said that because I always had a problem with that movie. People act like Loco was some kind of cool dude, but really Loco was like a buster. Like not like a regular buster. Loco was like the homie that get high and do everything high, but when he sober up. So remember when they was finna, they was finna let Bobby get packed out. And he went and stood up. I mean, they was finna let Loco get packed out by the Aryan Nation, by the woods. Right. And Bobby came and was like, nigga, this my homeboy. What's happening? And then all of the Hoover Deuces came over there and they was like, yeah, what's up? And they like, man, Bob, let this fool go, man. This dude, the Sherm, man, he ain't finna do nothing. Like, nah, this my homeboy. I'm keeping him. He stood up, risked his life, took on the debt of the woods, the Aryan Nation, for his homeboy. And the first time Loco needed to stand up for Bobby and be down with Bobby, that nigga was like, gotta go, Bobby. Can't be here all alone.
Yeah.
Gotta go, Bobby. He left him with that debt of 13 bucks. Aryan interest, motherfucker. Feel me? This is what I'm saying. Remember, they was finna put Loco off. They was finna let Loco get packed out by the woods. And then now they let Bobby be on his own over the debt. And then Loco was back with them. That's some shit that really happened in gangbanging too.
Does it really happen down
Hell yeah. Certain homies will be like they mad at this person, then they get mad at you. Now they cool with that dude that they really was finna let somebody else.
But that's
pack him
life
up.
anyway. You see that in life anyway. With
Yeah.
people.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's not
Like
exclusive to gangs and stuff.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not exclusive.
And I guess that's what I'm thinking about. I don't really see anything exclusive. I don't, bro. I don't. I feel so bad for Big U, man. Like I pray for him. I pray for him probably about 4 or 5 times, man. Because I know he came home and was just trying to be like a real help to the community. I mean, I know he was trying to be a real help to the community. Like that was something important to him. Be with the kids and the federal government could just come and just smear your name fast. Take everything. Mind you, the internet is the world of make-believe, so they'll make anything up. And people will believe that, oh, he did this to this person. I'm like, man, that ain't how that happened. Being a Crip, like you privy to different information because some of these people is my homeboys. And it's like, you get it. But then it's like that fast, bro. Like they could turn him like somebody who dedicated their life to helping kids, and now they could get on the news and just smear his name. And every nigga so goofy and lame, but I watch him do the same thing to Puff and everybody else.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So, just thinking about that and understanding, how law and criminal things work and people telling and stuff. When do you think is the period and era of where telling became, fashionable instead of when I grew up, you used to just get beat up for telling. There's no question you don't tell. But now it seems like it's okay, like the world think it's okay with people like Charleston White and things like that. When did that change where it was okay, fuck, anybody else, I'm saving myself and telling, and who cares? When was that era period when it changed?
So for me, that's a complicated question, right? Because one, it ain't okay right now. It's not. It just feels like it's okay. There's remember hip hop, right? Or street urban culture kind of had the patent to cool for years. Poor people really decided what was cool, which is kind of unbelievable when you think about it. For a long time in this country, poor people have been deciding what's cool. And there's been a huge population of people that were not privy or into that lifestyle. And now that the internet and social media has brought everything's kind of false sense of close, you have a bunch of people that didn't grow up this way trying to push onto the streets, right? They like, I'm tired of them niggas just being cool. I want to be cool too. And that's what you see. So take somebody like 6ix9ine or somebody like Gunna, right? Where people feel like, oh, well, everything is cool. Ain't nobody care. It's a lie. The squarest motherfucker breathing air care if you snitch. They care. They gonna act like they not because they trying to have the social currency that comes with something instantly. But they care. And slowly you'll see people's shit dwindle when their integrity is compromised, when it's called into question. So it's never like that. Charleston White is a unique situation because Charleston White is somebody who I know personally, I don't know him. We met each other personally, and he's a different person. Like, it's really chaotic. Everything about it is more about chaos than just actually a true agenda. He honestly, I think he preys on a lot of people's ignorance when it comes to lifestyle.
Yeah.
So like I heard him talk. Like, I don't really listen to a lot of his stuff because genuinely he kind of hurt my feelings, something he told me personally about how he feels about the streets and black people in general. But that's not the point. It's like he told a story about Big U extorting Nip. That's not true. That's like a bald-faced lie. And it's a lie that's been festering on the internet, through social media for years. For years. There's no world where could extort NH. There's no world where Draws could extort NH. It was just not gonna happen. There was no way Sam and NH was paying him nothing unless he worked for the money. But it's so many things that can fester on the internet and cause a false sense of confusion. And it's a lot of people who want in to being cool. They want in, bro. They're tired of being on the out of it.
So they'll just say anything, put anybody under the bus, and just to get that.
Well, right now there's a movement of people that seems like they're going against the streets.
Okay.
But really, they're just replacing them. Everybody who talks shit about rappers is gonna start acting like rappers. They're gonna start wearing big chains. They're gonna start showing up places, hopping on stage with a mic. They're people who couldn't come in this way, so then they want to kill what's there so they can replace what's there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, that's like why one of the things like I hate that I keep seeing a lot, and I hate YouTube for this because 99% of anything I watch on YouTube is like type 1. 1% is type 2, and that's 99% of my suggestions. But I keep seeing there is no limit of geography or time frame on this. Such and such gangster from such and such street and such time and such city says rapper so and so really wasn't that. All these shorts, it's like any old gangster from Christ knows where, Christ knows when, comes out and says Trick Daddy or Twista or this rapper or that, oh, he really wasn't with the so and so's like a 2-time convicted felon. What do you fucking think he was doing with himself all that time? Like, like anybody can just, like, it's a trend. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go a little viral for a couple seconds because I was in Liberty City and he was in Liberty City, and I talk shit about him because he's over in a house now and doesn't give a fuck anymore because he's 50 years old. Like, it's just like really stupid to me. And there's hundreds and hundreds of these fucking videos out.
I really don't listen to people talking crazy about people. If you gonna,
I don't listen
that
to
person,
I'm just saying there's people
no, not
benefiting
that
themselves doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you. First off, forgive me. I'm not going against your point. I agree with you.
Sure, I-
Right, but the truth is, I only respect it if you will tell that person to their face. Now, if I see a video where you sitting down and you telling somebody to their face, hey man, nigga, you this, that, and the third. I'm like, I got a different respect for you. But the internet where it's like people just saying stuff about people, like people say stuff about that man they wouldn't say to his face. That's why there's no video. It's nothing to get this person to come on a podcast and talk to you. One thing I pride myself in, there's not nothing I will say. I say everything I say to people. I'm not gonna say nothing behind you that I won't say to you. And then I'm gonna make it my business to make sure you know I said to you. That's why I feel like when we was talking with Coach probably a couple weeks ago, and I was saying about Drake disrespect. There's nothing I said about Drake that I wouldn't say to him. That's why I know I'm not disrespecting him. There's nothing I said about him that I wouldn't say to him. You know what I mean? And I don't really disrespect people. Like before I disrespect you, we just gonna fight. I'm gonna just take off on you. I mean, then we gonna dance, we're gonna communicate that way. So I know in real life that like I know how I'm talking. So it's a bunch of people right now that they're just saying anything about anybody. You know what I mean? And to Pete's point, it's like, you know, you just see it every week. I don't really pay attention to it. Show me, tell somebody that, go sit down with somebody and tell them to their face. That'll be impressive. But if you just get behind the mic and you just talking bad about somebody, man, you just really not nothing. It's too easy for us to see each other and tell each other to our faces. It's way too easy. It's way too easy. It's people that got podcasts that tell me all kind of shit. Invite me to your podcast and tell me to my face. You know what I mean? That way, you know, I'll get you some real ratings. You get some real views. You know what I mean? You get a lot of real views. There's a dude that follow me on Twitter. He be talking crazy. He got a podcast. He never invited me to his podcast. Imagine what it would be if he started telling me that to my face. Like
we can get him to call in next time.
Platinum. Yeah, no matter how it go, whether I jump up and punch you in the face, whether I jump up, whether we argue, whether I intellectually speak to you as well, no matter how it goes, you're going to get your money's worth. But I also see the reaction, you feel me? Like people don't, like I want to tell people the shit I'm saying today. Like D1, I don't agree with him on certain points and certain things. We set up a podcast. I'm going to tell him what I think to his face. Like there's no, like I want to sit down and talk. I'm articulate enough to listen to you and not be just offended. Like as long as you're not trying to offend me. You offend me, you know, you're going to get a fight on your podcast. That's good too. You can put that out. You might win the fight. You know what I mean? You might win the fight. So I think there's a space to really communicate with other humans, but I also think the internet really gives a different light to cowards. You know what I'm saying? Now, whoever you think is a coward, that's your choice. But I'm just saying, I think it's easy to get behind these cameras and just say things about people. Don't tell somebody that you got a problem with, hey, come on my podcast. I need to tell you what I think about you. That is interesting. You know what I mean? You people got something to say about
podcast.
You said who?
The Come Clean podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Tell them to their face. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, these people don't live that far. They only 15, 20 minutes away.
I got an idea.
Tell me.
We do a show. Remember that show Cheaters? Where they would preface it and then they would bring the
just
person
pull up
to the
just pull up with the mics and everything.
Exactly. With the pull-up podcast. You go in.
The pull-up podcast.
So said they're full of shit, but we got an idea, and then we escort them directly to that person.
I had an idea.
That's a good idea.
If we had somebody who could find people behind their social media posts, when people tweet irresponsible and mean things, I wanted to make a show where you just pull up on person. You tweeted this person, this and that.
They'll find them in 2 seconds.
They was doing that for a minute. That's how Deontay Wilder pulled up on old boy that was trolling all the boxers.
Yeah.
Oh, the little white dude that he beat up.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Deontay Wilder put hands on somebody in real life?
No, they got in a boxing ring. This dude, it was a dude that used to troll. Trust me, man. Like I really be careful what I say to people because I intend to run into everybody I talk about. But like this dude, he was a troll.
Charlie
what he would
Zelenoff,
do.
that's what
Yeah, that's his name. Shout out to Yato D God,
Yeah, I throw the
Charlie
guy.
Zelenoff. That's
I was
fact.
like,
And he was just popping.
Deontay's a heavyweight. Is that
Yeah, and it's like
those
he
are
got the
registered
lean with
hands.
him,
You
and
can
he
just
puts
go
the
grab
gloves
somebody in a
on.
diner. They're gonna fuck him over.
Yeah, and Deontay started going at it, and you look like he just looked like a deer in the headlights. And it's like that's how it feels. Like people
running up
get
the
too
gym.
comfortable behind these social media accounts to talk to people, and it's like some of these people is for real. You know what I mean? Like I don't care what I say. Like if I was like I would retweet something Kanye said, I'm like, hey man, don't say that because I really want to tell him in person.
Yeah.
I just don't believe for 2 seconds he would come in my face and allow me to tell him in person.
You don't think so?
Hell no. Because if he say the wrong thing, gonna be in a motherfucking fight.
You don't think he's crazy enough to think
No.
he say the right thing every
Hell
time?
no. He also scary enough to be where he far away from motherfuckers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's nothing to get in front of people and tell them what it is. You know what I mean? It's nothing if that's kind of where you at. And that's what I'm saying. Like, even in this conversation, when I hear a lot of people talking about gangs and this, and it's like that shit is bullshit. Like all that shit people saying is bullshit. That is not, can't nobody even talk to me about this. Like you gonna have to go get a Kev Mack or Alex Alonso or some real different stature to have this conversation with me when it comes to that particular thing, because I know it. I did it. Feel me? And I prided myself in it and I learned about it. I didn't just do it like, hey, second nature. I decided to learn about it. I started to learn about who started my community. I started to learn about who started all communities. And I try to teach people, you know what I mean, the things that I know.
And a lot of these people that's reposting all the information, like they don't have a responsibility of being right. They just, everybody want to be first. That's why there's so much content about the same thing. And it's like, sometimes you're going to have to take some of that stuff down because you didn't have a responsibility of being right or researching.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to Yacht. No, he is not known for saying foul shit in person. That is not his reputation.
Yeah, he
That's
barely pressed paparazzi in person.
Yeah. He not that in person. He don't really say much in person. He don't say foul shit to people. That ain't really who he is. Yeah, like that's the point. Like you want to show me that you this and that. Go sit down with Kev Mack and talk to him. Go sit down with Hood Postman. Go, Mel. Go sit down with Baby Gangster. I mean, go sit down with him and tell him your plight on gangs. That's where the real content lies. The real content lies if you go sit down with Gangster and talk to Gangster about gangs, and then you talk about your dismay with it. Talk to somebody that's intelligent enough to have a conversation. Don't sit behind your camera and just rile up people with misinformation and ignorance. That's just whack. Talk to somebody who know. That is great content. Mm-hmm. That would be great. Like with D1, I reached out to D1. I say, man, I really don't like your takes on street. I think you have some misinformation. Let's get up. That's politics. And the brother was like, for sure. You know what I mean? Like anybody, like I didn't like things that LaRussell was saying. LaRussell early on would be saying a lot of anti-street shit. If he the big homie, why you always with the little niggas? Hey, bro, you don't know how this goes. Stop saying that. Don't try to be anti-street to come into a culture created by the streets. You know what I mean? And that's not true. Like, don't mislead ignorant people because there's a lot of false perceptions on what's happening. And I told Charlamagne that on his show. And then when LaRussell called me, you know what I mean? I explained to him what I didn't like. And then I told him, he said, man, come up to the pergola. I said, tell me when. And I'm up there. I could sit down with you and talk to you and tell you my problem. But he did kind of fix it. He did stop, just going around mislabeling the streets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to defend poor Black people in a different way. Now, I'm not going to let them not be accountable, but I'm also going to be mindful of how everything is going.
So how you deal with Act then in that same situation? Like,
so here's a situation. Like, even with Act, right? I never wanted to talk to Act on the phone.
Yeah, I heard he said he talked to you and had
but I never wanted to talk to Act on the phone. Like, my homies was trying to make content. I'm not doing this to make no fucking content. This ain't really what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to have conversations with my homeboy Pete. He's a very intelligent person that's outside of it. Pete helps me understand it, but Pete also been around it enough. And a lot of things he can fix in my mind and shed light on that I may not see. When I talk to Six, the people that's on this stream, there is no, Sherry might be the closest thing to a fool on my stream. Not a fool like she don't know, but like intentions of just entertaining. But Six is here. These are people that are intelligent. When you see even to me, the people at the lunch table, I feel like we got the most intelligent people on YouTube. You know what I mean? That come from this culture or that has any affinity for this culture. So it's like, I really, my goal be to have to really dive deeper in intelligent conversations about the lives that we all familiar with. So like with Act, it was like, I never wanted to talk to him on the phone. You feel me? I wanted to talk to him in person. Because I don't want you to feel like you're on the other side of this phone. People get a different level of courage and they start being disrespectful. We need to talk in person. That way, when I talk to you and I tell you what I know, feel me? It's a way you're going to have to respect me in person. But over that phone, it could get bad. It just happened. It didn't happen that way. He was respectable. You know, he to me, he was a bit disingenuous. He tried to lead people with BS, but it was like, I just kept bringing him back. Hey, that's not what we're talking about. Don't do that. Let's focus right here. This is what it is. But I always wanted to have that conversation with him in person. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have it with him on the phone. And the homies make fun to this day. They feel like I was whispering, but I'm like, I'm trying to keep my emotions in check on the conversation because there's things he's saying that I don't like.
But he's a journalist to you. He's not really from the culture.
So Ak is unique, right? Because Ak is a black man, right? Ak is a brother that's from Jamaica that moved to a rural middle class community in Jersey.
Okay.
So he doesn't really have a lot of understanding in street urban culture as far as outside of entertainment.
Okay.
He picks up a lot of the things he know from entertainment. And that's a big thing right now. A lot of people, period, are picking up things from entertainment and then they feel like they're prepared to talk about it in depth. And to some degree it is because there's a ton of information about all these different street urban cultures on YouTube and online. Man, you could really take a deep dive, and figure out a lot of dope shit about street urban culture, but it's still nuance, missing things. There's still nuance. There's things that's missing in the conversation.
G.
Yeah.
You think that kind of like given your reputation and how you operate and stuff that you could get the conversation in person with somebody would be compromised, you know, to the point where you would get not genuine authenticity of thought because people might pull the reins too far back and not really say what they think face to face. I mean, obviously that's kind of the point of the conversation, but insofar as like exchange of information is concerned, like,
sure.
Do you think it would be pointless to sit down and talk to somebody in person because they would
that's kind of why I have never pressed on the conversation as well, because I don't think people really have true interest in what's going on with our lives. I don't care if it's in the ghettos of LA. I don't care if it's in the ghettos of Chicago. There's a dude who I watch. I get boxing content from. I forgot his name, but he's like, he be wearing like these kind of space hats. But what you get now is it's a lot of content creators talking about subjects like they're informed on subjects, and they have a baseline knowledge, right? They have a baseline knowledge. That's part of why I didn't ever try to sit down with Ak neither. Not to me, Ak potential was through the roof. Like I was one of the earliest Ak subscribers. He might have had 3,000 subscribers at the time. I watched him cover the war in Chirac when nobody else was talking about it. Like he should have probably won a fucking, what's that shit you win for TV, the news?
An Emmy?
He should have won a fucking Emmy. Like I had no fucking idea. And I was just blown away. And I was watching it happen in real life. And it was like, this motherfucker, like, you know what I mean? So he never was in Chicago. He never went to Chicago. That's not kind of his thing. He was able to show people how much access was available on YouTube. And then he started building relationships with people in those communities. And he started having things. And he told us about the war before the records even got big. And he was just as instrumental in drill music spreading the actual artistic merit of that culture, right? As the record labels. You know what I'm saying? So I have respect for his journalistic. Same for Flacco. These dudes are not like the average guys that let's say like Ak and Flacco are not the average kind of guys that like Vlad to sit down with or Adam sit downs with. These are pretty much like the the brilliant kids from the surface point of the internet, social media, not the internet, but social media. And they know how to dive through content and lifestyles in a way that most people don't know how to. They are brilliant in their own right. There's some shit. But I also understand that a lot of it is built off entertainment, because a lot of things on YouTube is entertainment. It's not necessarily true just information. Even some of the documentaries are rooted in entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I respect Act for that. Like, that dude really put me on a war with some brothers in Chicago in the ghetto that I had no idea. And it was like, don't get me wrong, we could talk about it being negative. We could talk about people dying. You know what I'm saying? But just to know what brothers was going on in Chicago with any type of depth, you know what I'm saying? It was special. And that built his career.
So
You know what
that
I'm
made
saying?
him culture?
No, it don't make him culture. Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Just because you study some, Stephen A. Smith studies professional basketball. He ain't no professional hooper. He ain't no hooper. You know what I mean? Like, there are people outside of the lifestyle, but no, he's not. I remember asking Flocka one day, like, how do you, I think people, but that's standard. What it is it's a bunch of people who study art and think they're a part of the culture that inspires the art. But that's because the average person, right, is thinking, if I listen to the art, I am the culture. That's weird. And they like, when people be like, I'm hip hop because I listen to hip hop music. Well, I eat Mexican food. I'm not Mexican. Feel me? Like, some of this shit is ridiculous, but that's how people feel because they want to be a part. The same thing that drives gang culture is that's a human thing. So it's like, people like, oh, I listen to hip hop. I'm hip hop too. No, you're not. I was listening. Shout out to Lex and all the homies at the ADHD. Shout out to my little craze, the lunchroom monitor. Make sure niggas be standing and checking all that, and niggas don't get out of hand. Everybody at the ADHD at our community was making fun because I told them I didn't really know hip hop till 2019 is when I feel like I knew it. Everybody was laughing. Oh, Glazzy, that's crazy. Nigga, you was almost 40 years old. Nigga, how you just figured it out then? And I said, what do you mean? It was like, I was like, y'all keep thinking learning some albums make you hip hop. Y'all thought going to see Crush Groove made you hip hop. Y'all thought watching breaking make you hip hop. You thought because you went to a concert or you had a subscription to the Source, you hip hop. You niggas is crazy. And niggas really feel like that. They like what that you could tell how unserious most human beings take hip hop.
Let me ask this question. When did you realize you was hip hop or street urban culture?
So I didn't know hip hop was street urban culture.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, when did you realize, like, I am this here with?
So the first time I got it is when I went to the Bronx when we was in New York.
Okay, I remember.
And I was meeting with them older heads from the Spade.
Yeah.
And they was just breaking it down. Like, nah, we was all street niggas, G. Everybody at the beginning of hip hop was from the streets.
Yeah, they still in the
it was made to say right now they was
still in the streets. Still in the streets.
Right?
The stories there was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's like,
Also, that's something like we were talking before we were unfortunately sidetracked on Wednesday. But talking about like the consumer psyche of different types of cowboys, like mafia movies, for example, are made by movie people, whereas hip hop records about the streets are made. Like John Gotti did not make a movie about John Gotti.
I'd have been fire.
No, but Fat Gucci made a song about Fat Gucci.
Facts. No, but I'm saying, the point I'm saying is I didn't realize it came to like 2016, 17. Please hit them likes, people. Y'all got me looking crazy. We got 500 people, but they say we got 100 people on YouTube and everybody ain't hit the like. Hit the like button. Do a player solid, man. You ain't even buying his lunch.
That's at the time you went heavy into the history and things like that.
Because now I started to care what hip hop was.
Okay.
It wasn't no longer. When I first got into this business, I wanted to start a company to not have to sell Sherm no more. That's all I got into.
So you wasn't
hip-hop
caring
in.
about the community. You
I
wasn't
didn't
caring
even know
about-
that I didn't even know that the two were synonymous. I had
Okay.
no idea. I don't care how many records I listened to or how many films I bought or how long my source of Double L subscription was. I didn't feel like I was. I don't take things for granted.
Yeah.
Like I love boxing. I don't think I'm a boxer. I know more about basketball and the history of basketball than Kevin Durant per se. I don't think I'm a professional basketball player. I don't think I'm a hooper. So I think naturally I don't feel entitled to something because I learned about it. I really have to be into it for me to feel like I'm a part. So when we was in New York and we was bouncing around to the Bronx and Staten Island, and I'm talking to the older dudes from the Spades, and they was like, bro, this was made for people like you.
Yeah.
And as I was able to ask them questions and double back, sitting down with Eric B at the fish market in Jersey, you know what I mean? Meeting up with different people and really getting to pick their brain and ask them, what is this thing really about? And when you hear something, they always talk about the elements. Then I said, so wait a minute, y'all saying it's street urban culture expressed through the elements. Yeah, glasses naturally. I'm like, no, but that matters. They was like, no, it's that's simple. And I'm like, no, it's not that simple. Most people think if you DJ, you hip hop, or people think if you know how to rap, DJ, graffiti, you got some knowledge, you hip hop.
Don't forget dance.
And b-boy, right?
Yeah.
That's specific to that culture. A b-boy is a Bronx boy.
Yeah.
That's just some shit. You know what I mean? And people don't know that. So they feel entitled. Like, well, I buy the albums. I'm hip hop just like Jay-Z. No, you're not. No, you're fucking not. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know. So when I finally decided to learn what it was, like I kind of became in debt to it for saving my life. Like I became in debt to that shit. Like that's why when we went over there and I'm chilling, I was in debt. It saved my life. I'd have been dead or in prison or either rich off drugs. What's the better possibilities?
Do you think that a lot of these people, like you said, they think that they are the culture? Do you think that they, like, say if you were to like in the movie space, like I have an opinion about a movie, therefore I think I'm an actor, or therefore I think I'm Roger Ebert, an expert movie critic?
But Roger
like
Ebert,
which one of those do you think that?
Roger Ebert,
I'm saying Joe fan.
I know, but I'm saying Roger Ebert is a part of the movie industry.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
But the average fan is just a fan.
Gotcha.
But some people do grow up in the culture, and hip hop is the artist. And again, the culture is not making music. It's not the culture. I think that's the confusion. People think the culture is making music. No, that becomes an art piece. It's something inside of the culture, but that's not it. You know what I mean? Like
that's something to show the culture.
The culture is the culture
public.
is, you know, the thing that inspires the art.
Yeah.
Well, like the taco point, I could go invest $1,000 in 100 hours in tasting comparatively and critiquing tacos throughout Los Angeles. It doesn't make me in my own mind probably a Mexican as so much as it makes me in my own mind an expert food critic.
But hip hop is so kind of lazy that people think they just have access. They don't feel like they're like, all I do is eat tacos, burritos. I was at, King Taco the other day. I go there all the time. I'm Mexican. You know, hey, I celebrate on Cinco de Mayo. I celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I drink Coronas. I saw the Corona commercial.
So
you know what I mean?
How many people understand? Go ahead, Pete.
No, I was gonna say like your opinion and that's the thought process. Because I'm not in the internet space like that.
Man, listen, I tell people that all the time, and I'm not saying I'm not one of the people in agreement that you have to have a huge knowledge of the past to be hip hop. Like you don't have to know who Kool Herc is to be hip hop. I just don't know. Why would you want to be proud in hip hop and don't know who Kool Herc is? You don't have to know who Raymond Washington or Craig Craddock or Tookie or Mac Thomas or Big Honcho. You don't have to know who any of these people are to be a Crip. I just don't understand. Why would you want to be a Crip and not know who these people are? That shit just weird to me.
Well, that goes with relevance again. Like if you didn't know, and if you did know, it was two different ways you was treated. Like if you didn't know the history of Crips, then you was treated a certain way, even though you was a Crip, but you don't know the history. Like you ain't a real Crip if you don't understand the history. Even though you had to learn things, history and stuff like that.
Shout out to Ronald Green Jr., my man Ron. Ron Jizzle, gangbanging is more family tradition for some people. I agree, but that's my point. Like, I think you just naturally become it. But I'm just saying, how could you be a proud member and don't know who your family is? Like, you should be trying to learn everybody in your family. Imagine acting like you're a proud Green and you don't know anything about the fucking Greens. You might be related to Al, nigga, and you don't even know it because you never did the homework. You know what I'm saying? You have to do the, like, that's my opinion, but it doesn't mean you're more official. But it's hard to argue Crippin with me, right? Because I'm really from 7th Street Watts, Pluck, Moon, Shady, Maine, Tone. They really did raise me. And I know the first niggas that started 7th Street. And I know the first nigga that started East Side and West Side Crip. And I know the inspiration. And I know this. So the reverence, how we speak, is going to be completely different. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, even when people talk about who we are, it's going to be different. I don't care if you murdered 30 people, your cripping ain't going to be on another level than mine. It just ain't going to matter. Because once you stop murdering people, that's all you got. What you going to tell people you murdered 30 people? That ain't going to get you nowhere. And I'm not going to be scared. I don't give a fuck because you be the 31st person that died in your presence. So again, like, I'm not asking for people to respect what I'm on. I'm just saying, I just don't understand how people call themselves proud anything without wanting to know what it's about.
You know, it's so funny when people say, you know, we choose to be gang members and things like that. It's like, no, my parents chose to live in this neighborhood.
That's really the truth.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that we choose.
Yeah. Shout out to Sat. Sat said, I grew up with PJ. No more for 7. Oh, look, Sat, on my first album cover, bro, and this is the part that blows me away because people think gangbanging is just really, it's like when you really from the community, bro, you know everybody in the community. My first album, Beach Cruise, when we shot it in front of the Pink store in front of the Imperial Courts. I brought Mac 10 to the PJ, Stunner Man to the PJ. I'm not from PJ Watts, but these my brothers. I always saw it like that way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes brothers argue and fight. Sometimes brothers argue, fight, and shoot. But really, I've been knowing these people in this community my whole life. I didn't feel like I shot it outside of my hood because I went and shot it in Imperial Courts. Nigga, this the hood. Nigga, this is my whole community. Everything. Mm-hmm. Nigga, I went and shot a video on the Jordan Downs and the nigga was like, man, Glass, I ain't, you got it. I'm not paying you a dime. Yeah, not a cent. You better go ask one of these niggas who I am, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, I've been, you know what I mean? So, like, I'd rather, yeah, nigga, nothing. Feel me? So, again, like, I hold this shit near and dear to my heart. You know what I'm saying? But that's why. So, I don't think it makes me more hip-hop than anybody else. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, how could you be so proud and you don't care to know none of this shit?
Let me pose a question. So, for the family that just happen to live in this neighborhood and the kid is, let's say the mom and dad ain't from that cloth. At what point does that kid have a choice? Because we've all seen the kids that grew up in it that just ain't ever get put on or whatever the case. I saw somebody ask a question. Kids have no choice. At some point, or at what point do they have a choice?
Yeah, they got a choice. Shout out to Dog Walk Rehab. He says so kids have no choice. So it's like this, Dog Walk. It's like, yes, you have a choice, right? But really your friends are your friends. So like, let's say you go, like you from 7th Street, you from 117th Street Wash Crip, right? Like me, right? And you walk to the shopping center, right? The Kenneth Hahn Shopping Center, which is on 120th and Wilmington, which is probably a 5-minute to 10-minute walk from where we from. And you're not from nowhere. You never, for a lack of lamer term, got put on, you know what I mean? But you walking with somebody who is put on, right? But this is your childhood friend, and y'all walk up there, and some guys from another community, let's say they're from 124, right? And they come up there and they got a problem with your friend, and all three of them people jump on your friend. This is your childhood friend. Dog Walk, like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be like, well, you know what? I am not from no gang. This has nothing to do with me. So you're on your own, my buddy. That's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's really how it happened, Dog Walk. Like, you from where you from, because where you from. Now, how far you gonna take it into that criminal element is a different conversation. But I'd be hard pressed to believe, dog, like that if your friend is from the community, if he part of the infantry, and y'all walking up there and 4 or 5 people jump on your friend, even if you're not a part of the community, I have a hard time believing as a friend you're gonna let him just get beat up.
Also, I'd like to add too, when you say a choice, the choice is really to have an easier life in the neighborhood or have a rougher life in the neighborhood. If you ain't got no friends, the life is gonna be a little harder for you to move around in the neighborhood. So as a kid's choice, he's gonna take what's easier. Hang around the kids that's now, meet them and hang out with them, or sit in my house and yard.
But I think that's normal more than like
yeah, but I'm saying that's the choices a kid has. Like, he doesn't have a choice to move to the neighborhood.
Yeah,
He's got a choice
what you do, not where you live.
The neighborhood.
Yeah. So that's my point, right? And shout out to Sack. He said the Kenneth Hahn Shopping Center was a mix between PJ's, Mona Park, 7th Street, Carver Park, Home Streets. Exactly. And so like it could be, you could run into anybody. It didn't matter if you was a gang member. You live over there. No, you live on 117th Street. So
Thank
these
God
is
that
your
food
friends.
for less sucks so bad. It probably
Exactly.
saved
These
my
is
life.
your
If
friends.
they had any inventory, I'd have gotten into some shit over there by accident one day.
For sure. These is your friends. Moto is my friend. Lil J is my friend. Shawnee Wani, my friend. Fuck the gang. These are my friends. I've been knowing Moto since we was probably 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
I've been knowing Lil J since we was probably 10 and 11. I've been knowing Pluck and Moon and them since I was a little kid, and they was in their fucking 20s and 30s. When I was a little kid. These are really my friends. Like when I got in trouble and got kicked out, I went and ate at their grandma's house. Like, I don't know if I'm losing my mind, but I don't see gangbanging the way everybody else see it. Now, if you're one of those, like I said, one of those, forgive me for a lack of a better term, I know Trump got it crazy, but if you're one of those gangbanger immigrants where you just went to some foreign community just to be a part of a community where you didn't grow up with nobody, you, my friend, need a therapist. It's different. Something else is wrong with you. Something else is wrong with you. You feel me? Like, if you like grew up in Cerritos and you drove to the Imperial Courts and got courted on PJs just because you want to be from a gang, that's not gangbanging.
That kind of brings up an interesting question, like from like what we were talking about earlier. There's almost kind of like was 3 buckets, and I was in the wrong secondary bucket where the conversation was at the time. Talking about like risk tolerance,
Mm-hmm.
So like let's say there's 3 buckets. You have like an actual gang member. You got somebody who's not a gang member but with some activities, and then you've got like somebody who's not with the activities, right? And if you're in an area that's largely at least defined as a gang neighborhood, and it's probably more likely if it's bigger than if it's smaller in this regard, and you're with some activities, it's got to be fairly difficult to remain independent. Like if you're a hustler and you selling drugs in some capacity and you stay in 8 trays, what's the incentive to not be a part of that, versus to be a part of that? Let's say if you're gonna be in and out of the system, maybe if you're gonna be this and that,
it's not nothing. You know what it is, Pete? It's not nothing to be a part of. Weird as it sound, right? It's like, okay, so my dad had the house on 117th Street. My mom had a house in the Farms, in the Richland Farms. We live right at the canal, right? It's a canal in Compton, right? You saw NWA walking in that canal. We live right next to the canal, and across on the other side of the canal, maybe a bridge that's 10 feet long at best, because the canal ain't that wide, maybe 15 feet, it ain't that long, is Acacia Block, right? So it's right there. Just having friends, right? You go play football against this street right here, right? We were Caldwell. So we would go play football against Johnson Street, but the Johnson Street guys lived in Spooktown, right? It's like, if a fight happened, I grew up with 13. I grew up with Darnell. I'm not from Acacia Block or Forum Dog, but if you do something to them, I'm probably going to do something to you. These is my boys. You know what I mean? To this day, them is my boys. Like, we don't got to talk, but when we talk, it's a different energy when we talk. Same for Crawford, same for Romy, rest in peace, which is Reese's older brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, These are my Bryce. You know what I mean? These are my like they're my friends. So even how people see gangbanging, I don't think I could ever see it because I think that again, the ignorant belief is you just get courted on and that's what it is. It's like, no, bro, it's you either with your friends or you not. Now, even picking up a gun. Shout out to my homeboy Damon. Like Damon, not from nowhere, but there was a time when if you would have got into it with me, Damon would have shot at you over that. He not from no gang. He just a street nigga. He don't care about none of that gang shit. But guess what? If y'all would have tried to say something to me, that nigga would have pulled out and got cracking on you. Because that's just how we live. So I think the gang part of it is over sensationalized to everybody else based off of entertainment versus what's really good. And that's what I was thinking about even in this conversation when it came to gang versus street culture. Like Deuce Mac, like, right, one half of the LA Giants, 1/3 of 110, the rap group. Deuce Mac ain't no gangbanger, but Deuce Mac carry himself no different than anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, he gonna hustle, you know, when it was time. He gonna bust his gun when it's time, you know what I mean? Now, it doesn't mean you're a gang member if you go shoot at somebody that did something to me. I don't believe that make you a gangbanger. It make you a criminal. I mean, so I don't know quite. Shout out to one of the homies who said that too. It's like maybe the initiation process, but really a lot of people don't even get initiated in the gangs. That's an oversell.
That goes back to the whole thing where we was talking about Big U and everything. Like these crimes that are committed is not gang related crimes
At all.
But you guys say he's a gang member, and whatever crime he do, it has to be in furtherance of the gang.
That shit.
And a lot of people be like, don't even do that stupid shit.
Yeah, that shit fucked me up, bro.
Crazy.
Like people keep throwing the term 6-0 Rico. I'm like, that's not a 60 Rico.
Yeah,
bro.
it's crazy.
It's like people want, and I think it's a weirdness of people who just, you know what I mean? Like they just hate the streets so bad. So they want somebody who means so much to the community. Like this dude that did shit for them kids and looked out and been just an all right guy.
But that's the outside conspiracy of not wanting somebody with that kind of knowledge and stuff trying to enlighten the community to change and fix it. You know how the system get. They don't want people like that out there that know how it works and try to change it. That's something different.
Go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, for the sake of the question, largely more of the hypothetical than actually an analysis of Big U.
Sure.
But there's a lot of extortion-based accusations in this. So for that reason, is the affiliation with the 6-0 brand title what enables a lot of that extortion to be plausible? Or is this a difference between just saying 6-0 versus the fact that, like proverbially speaking, he didn't refile a new gang LLC to put a title on the 20 people involved with what this allegedly is being accused of having been? If that makes any kind of sense.
So even the levels of extortion are a joke, bro. Like you just have to, it's messed up because it's a legal case and I don't want to be talking about that man's case, but like I told y'all a couple times, I know who the main victim, the main witness that created this case. Like I know who the main person, and he didn't ever have to extort that dude. That dude offered because he was using that man's name for years. He offered that man money as a protection service. Let's be honest, man. It's a lot of people that ain't men, and they want somebody to protect them. I've always thought LA got a bad rep for extorting people. Don't get me wrong. I think there were moments where at times things happen. Like even when you hear the story of Suge Knight and he shaking Vanilla Ice or Vanilla Ice folks down. Shout out to Vanilla Ice. Like no disrespect. But people don't know the real story. Oh, he extorted them. No, he was actually going to get publishing back for a song that somebody else wrote. And when the legal and the law couldn't do anything, Suge was able to go to them people and demand y'all sign the paperwork over to this man for his shit. But the story ain't out there like that. The story is like Suge hung this guy over a balcony. They say Vanilla, he hung Vanilla Ice over a balcony and demanded. No, he went and did that because them people took some from this man and never had any intentions on giving it to him. But then when they tell the story, and
that's what the story. That's how the story was told.
No, it's not. Hell no. The story is told he just took some publishing from somebody and hung him over a balcony.
a couple people he didn't took some from.
Yeah.
Story is.
See, you talking about what happened later as YouTube came about, and people still don't know that. People still feel like
That's what I thought. Like the original, like VH1 Behind the Music was like there was a disagreement over publishing rights, and he went to go.
It wasn't even a disagreement. It was like fully they had took it and wasn't giving the man nothing. And
Well,
like
they disagreed over the ownership.
No, it wasn't disagreement. The fact was you didn't own it. Somebody else wrote it, and you took it from them. They took something from Chop. They took it, and
How?
no legal source was gonna get it back.
Like how?
They didn't. So when it was time for
something?
when it
What was it that he took? Hook or
Did they
something?
copy it, or did they like have
Ice Baby?
Okay.
They didn't give him a dime.
Off of Ice Baby.
Yeah, like dog. When you get into the true story, and I guess that's the thing about being street is having that knowledge versus the average American, right? Who don't know.
Well, like in real time. So like, how does that happen? So they have somebody else has like say hypothetically like rented the studio space where the song was created for production.
Yes.
And then Vanilla Ice goes and raps over that song, and they just didn't pay the guy who produced it at that time.
No, didn't pay him nor gave him his publishing.
Probably didn't have no paperwork either.
Sure, gotcha.
I mean, because
was it one of those things like because like this happens in like a research.
It's not
center.
necessarily. It's not like Mace and Puff where Mace signed a publishing deal over it. That's not taking it. You actually just made a bad business deal. This was actually like the business at one time. Oh, you write the song, we blow up. Hey, we made it popular. Well, you got to still give the person that correct publishing and points and credit. They didn't do that. Sure. Shout out to Derek Mallory. He at the lunch table cooking. Mario Johnson Chocolate is from Dallas, Texas, who wrote Ice Baby. So again, it's like, but if you hear the story, all you hear is Suge Knight extorts people. Like the same thing with draws. Like they got stuck up in a dice game. Somebody used T's dice, bad dice, to get them in a dice game, $1 million+. They scared to go to the police for whatever reason. Maybe they don't want to be embarrassed. So they come to somebody of the community to make justice.
Yeah.
So again, it's like
got respect. Somebody got respect.
So again, it's like the extortion word is overblown. Yeah. Most people scared of LA, or they want to be a part of the brotherhood in LA. Weirdly. You know what I mean? Like, so people come and offer him opportunities, and you know, he does a lot of stuff with the kids. It wasn't like this nigga's rolling around in a Bentley and a Phantom. Even how they talk about how he stole money. That nigga lived over there. He didn't live in no mansion in Beverly Hills. He lived over there in that neighborhood, in that community. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like when they are able to tell the story about our people. I just don't like it. You know what I mean? Especially to us. That shit drives me crazy.
Yeah, single-sided perspective.
Yeah, and they be like, oh, you know, this guy. And they'll start, and you know why they bringing up rolling 60s? They bringing that up to make him look crazy.
And to
he's like, hey, we're taking down the biggest gang. It's like, man, y'all bullshit, cap-ass people. Again, some GA is going to be big, you know what I mean? Because it looks like he's taking on the gang. Man, that ain't, look in there. They don't say it's a rolling 60 indictment, but they sure to mention it. Leader of the, first off, that's one of them gangs. Well, I don't give a fuck who you is. There is no leader. The baddest motherfucker will have a problem because it's a lot of bad motherfuckers over there.
But they went after people in wheelchairs and shit. Ain't nobody doing nothing now. Everybody's old and doing their own life. Yeah. So you know they trying to do. You know, it's another agenda they got.
Yeah, hands down.
But the community itself, it's not Big U. It's not that.
Yeah. Shout out to Ronald Green Jr. I agree. More than that, they want to be a part of the brotherhood, and that's true. And so they go to people. You know what I mean? They go to these people and they say they offer opportunity, but then they don't like how it look. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, again, it's just cap. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I hate it. And I hate how, you know, people who supposed to represent the streets, you know, are they seem like they happy about it. It's just
passes.
weird.
You think they're giving passes?
It's not even passes. I think people, I don't know. I think it's a fear. I don't think most people interacted with him. I think most people heard a name and then they thought of all of this crazy stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, because if you met that dude is a good dude, man. Like he got
a couple times.
he don't get me wrong, he had a hard life. Motherfuckers be having hard lives out here. You know what I mean? He came up in a different era of Los Angeles. But I know when he came home, he had a different agenda. He did 1,000 things to help the kids. He used to be out on that field all the time with them kids. He put it in. So I just hate that the time that he needs us.
Didn't he put uniforms on kids' teams and stuff like that, making sure they could
I
play?
hate that right now when he needs, black people to stand up for him.
And they not.
They not. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But that's the one thing I think that's unique about the No Ceilings podcast or the No Ceilings live stream, the lunch hour, is it's a very honest and informative perception of street life. It's not just, I'm not giving y'all boys in the hood. Trust me, I can act a donkey. You know what I mean? I know how to do that too. But I'm giving y'all honestly what it is. I'm not trying to glorify it. I'm not trying to make it look better than it is or worse than it is. This is what it is. And here is the facts. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy like that. Again, this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, right here on Digital Soapbox. Click that thumbs up button. Let everybody know you're in the house. If you're on Twitter, retweet this link so somebody else can see this fly ass shit. You're on Facebook, like it, share the post, tell a friend and tell a friend. Hit that thumbs up button if you're on YouTube, man. For real. We do this stream to support the No Ceilings podcast. Just dropped the excellent podcast. It's audio. You don't even focus on the video side, just for y'all mind. Me and Pete dug deep into some things. Pause. Check it out. You can listen to the No Ceilings podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcast from. The No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black Effect Podcast Network, and iHeart. And we out this thing, man.
No Crip store today?
Oh, yeah. Head over to www.thecripstore.com. Thecripstore.com. Grab some merch, grab a shirt, grab a hat, grab an apron. Summer, you finna have the barbecue. Shout out to everybody at the lunch table. Dog, much love. I like y'all energy too. Dramatic, what's up? Queen Lady Act. Lex, thank you for always supporting the player, man. We always joke, but I appreciate your support. And same for you, Craze, man. You know what I mean? I don't know about me and New York niggas, man. We always had a different bond. I almost feel like I should fucking be from New York sometimes. Much love to y'all, brothers. We out of here, man. See y'all Monday at motherfucking 12.
Yeah.